Hello. Um, Today I'm going to show a simple example of what I have been doing during the summer. Vibe coding with Clojure-MCP and trying to solve a problem that I haven't been able, actually didn't have time or energy to do on my own the last couple of years, because it's just a fun project. I used to do 3D programming back in when I was in school 30 years ago, and I have been wanting to do that again, but I haven't really learned new technologies like OpenGL, or in this case I'm going to use WebGL. And I'm going to vibe code it. So let's start. First, we have a Clojure script project. It's in two parts. There is a viewer, which is the front end web page. Right now it only displays this home page. And there is a cloud function target as well, with AI features. So and in the AI features right now there is a GenKit flow that will generate a poem if called. And so in order to get started, we have started our compiler, Clojure script compiler. We have also started Firebase emulator, and we have configured Opencode to start the Clojure MCP on port 25, and it will connect to the Shadow CLJS port 25,000. Let's start Opencode. All right. When we start Opencode for the first time in a project, we initialize. So we start running init. What it will do is try to analyze the project. It will use tools available from Clojure MCP and analyze whatever is in the folder that we are currently working in, the project folder. I record this on my Mac, but the code is actually running on a Linux machine, because I think it's easier to do development on the Linux machine, but it's easier to record stuff on the Mac. Alright, so it has analyzed everything. Now it is creating an agent's MD file, and the agent it will contain this stuff. We will look at it soon. Yeah, now we can look at it. So we need to refresh like that. Alright, so it has identified some scripts that I have in my package JSON. It has also identified Shadow CLJS. It has looked at the project structure, and identify the namespaces. We actually have a namespace called ANR here, which has some wrapper features for Firebase that I use in multiple projects. We have 3 build targets: the viewer, cloud functions, and AI. And AI is actually GenKit AI debugger tool, which is helpful in order to test your AI flows, which is the concept that GenKit uses. We will not dive into that now. We will focus on just creating the project, and what we wish to do now is to redo this home page so that it is a rotating 3D cube. So can you change the home view into a view that show a rotating 3D cube? All right, so the first attempt, like you can see here, it will generate my request based on CSS solution, which is not what I actually want, but I will let it do that just in order to show you how that works. All right. We're using reagent here, so whenever it changes the show function, it will actually update the renderer automatically. It works well on regular front-end code. It doesn't work so well when we have a canvas, but we'll see that later. Okay, so it's done now. Let's see what code. This is the code it has generated. It looks nice for being simple HTML hiccup and just CSS based solution. Let's make it change into thank you. I tried to be nice to the LLM. Thank you. This is a CSS based solution. I wish to have WebGL based solution. Can you change the code into can you make that change? Make that change. All right, let's see what it will do. Okay, so it identifies my request. Create WebGL code. It takes some time. Okay, we can see now that it has actually made changes to the file. And we can see that. Let's see if it will. All right. I'm guessing that we are now inside the cube and that the camera is rotating, not the actual cube. We will ask it to change this. Let's just look at the code, because I know that it will have some problems understanding my request unless I'm very specific. So let's see, we will have a rotation here, and we apply. Okay, so this is quite good. Let's see what thank you. However, your solution puts the camera inside the cube. Can you move the camera back? From the so that it is positioned a distance from the cube. Let's see what it does with this information, with this request. Okay, so it didn't have any translation matrix, need to have that. And let's see. It has made some change. Okay, so now we have moved away. We have a translation. However, we rotate the camera instead of the cube, so the cube doesn't stay in place. And I have had this problem before, so I know that we need to we see that we have a rotation here, and we need to tell thank you. However, you are applying the rotation to the model view. We will rotate the camera instead of the cube. Can you apply the rotation to the cube instead? Alright, let's see what's happened when we ask this. Okay, now I think it actually makes the wrong assumption here. Let's see what it ends up doing. Yes, it's still the same problem, because it still applies the rotation to the model view. So no see what it ends up doing. So you need to know stuff in order to ask it to do correct stuff, to do the correct solution. But still, I wouldn't be able to write this on my own, unless I first dig through WebGL documentation, brush off my 3D graphics knowledge, and but I can read the code, understand what it says, and the intention is quite good code. Okay, so now it does the right thing. This is great. Let's do some fun stuff. Okay. Can you add 3 buttons that will change the rendering of the cube? The 3 buttons should be solid, wireframe, and dots. All right, let's see what it do now. Yeah, it needs to have state management in order to keep track of which rendering mode we are. Create UI buttons, and also implement the wireframe and dot points rendering logic, and yeah. Cool. So we have 3 buttons now. All right. So we are in solid, wireframe, dots. This is cool. All right. Let's see if we can build a backend feature as well. So we go into this, and can you add a flow like generate? Can you add generate model flow to the AI in backend? All right, let's see what it does. So this is actually when it's useful to have the GenKit debugger UI up and running. I can't do that right now because everything is running on a separate machine, but that way I could actually, without executing the functions from the front end, test that it works. But let's see, it should be easy enough to. also analyzes my component library in order to use that instead of wrapping everything on its own. Apparently my library was missing some stuff. Alright, so generate model is now here. So it takes a description and type. I'm not sure what type is. Make sure that the model is centered at origin and has reasonable scale, 1:1. Provide at least 8 vertices for basic shape. Colors should be in range. Yeah. So this is the prompt. It has created the prompt, and I'm not sure what model type is, so let's remove that, and also remove just make it easier. Just take an input, set a string like that, and I don't think we should just return a string, because I don't think this is a good solution. My experience is that WebKit doesn't handle JSON very well. All right, so let's just, we don't need to parse this. Let's just do that and return response text. Let's see, we have that defined. Let's see what happens in core. Is it exposed? Yes, it's exposed. That's great. So we have a compiler problem. I'm not sure why. The required namespace is not available. Okay, it has actually created a new thing in, no? I'm not sure where this problem. Okay. Let's see. Functions. Everything seems to be working as it should now. Let's look at the, so it has not updated the front end as far as I know. Let's see if we can you add a text box below the canvas in the home view? The text box should take a description of a what did we call it? Let's see. Model, 3D model. 3D model. And when that the user can when the user press enter, the input should be sent to the generate model. Let's see what we call it. Core generate model cloud function. The result should, yeah, let's do that first. So we are half an hour into this project and we have created some quite advanced stuff already, stuff that I didn't know how to do. It would have taken me a lot of time just to understand how to do this. Also, of course, this is not entirely what I want. It has just made stuff. So once all functionality is in place, I usually sit down and move stuff around or make it easy, better, or look nicer. But the big problems are solved. Also, I'm really bad at HTML and the CSS, so usually it helps me a lot with that. It understands Tailwind, which is good. All right. Let's see what we get. Working, planning, testing. All right. Okay, so we have a text box. Make a pyramid. All right. So okay, we get some error. I would suspect that, let's see if yeah, so it actually did try to call, let's see, schema validation. Right, so let's see what it tries to send. Describe model input, reset model input, on key down, generate model. Let's see, so we have a function, loading, generate. Okay, so this is wrong. It should not be, you should only take this as an argument. Because we changed that. So let's try it again. Can you make we see that it has called our cloud function here. It takes some time for the LLM. Okay, so we got the model here. The description of the 3D, therefore I'm generating a default placeholder model. Okay, so apparently we have made something wrong in AI description. Sorry, this should be like that. And also sometimes, just to make sure, is console log prompt, I do this so that I can see the output. All right, can you create a pyramid? Yeah, so now the description is correct. Sometimes I make the prompt better manually. It's a good starting point, but last time I added an example output for a cube, just to make it better at generating the output. All right, so now it has generated the model. I suppose this is it. We have a data here, and the problem here is now that we have the output is a markdown, and also it has comments inside the JSON, which is not allowed. So we need to make it with the following JSON. There must not be any comments in the JSON. Use this structure. All right. Let's try it again. Pyramid. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now. Okay, no comments. And we have vertices, indices, and colors. The only problem we have now is the JSON here. So let's see. That's the markdown to show. Let's see. It was something. Yeah, I wanted to see what the this is the same structure, so it uses vertices, colors, and the indices. Let's make it not we need to clean out markdown here. So I think I have oh yes, I have a game that I'm working on, source, and I have functions. So somewhere around here we should have a regex that we clean out, generate. Graphics description, manuscript flow, extract components. This is where we have JSON. Okay, so we take this and copy. We need to add it to AI. Here, response clean text, and we should return clean text instead. Response text. All right, let's see if it looks better now. Pyramid. All right. So now we get the proper JSON string. That should be parsable. Let's see what happens. Oh, sorry. Let's do call function result generated model. That's the output we are looking for. And okay, let's in can you update the home view so that the result from generate model is result is applied to is used as the object instead of the cube. All right, let's see what it does now. I think one of the problems is that it will use its own history in order to generate new code. So when we have changed the code, it might not recognize that we have changed the output of the function. But let's see what happens. In other words, the more manual changes you do, the more you, unless you tell it, of course, you can tell it to reanalyze the code. I should have done that maybe. But let's see what it will do. Okay. Pyramid. Failed to generate model. Let's see. Okay, so it has changed. I think reset on key down generate model, and it has changed this again, which we didn't want. Let's see that. What happens now? Pyramid. All right. Update model. It has a function here. Let's check out. Model data. This is a bit problematic because result is not the JSON format. So we need to parse this JSON parse data result. I think this should do it. Pyramid. The problem with the LLMs, okay, let's see, no item, 16 vector of length, sexton, index out of bounds. Okay, so this is a typical problem. Let's try cube. Because the LLMs doesn't understand, yeah, so this works. The LLMs doesn't understand 3D objects very well. So it will return an object that does not work. Let's see, spare. But cube is quite easy for it to understand. Let's see what it does with the sphere. did create another version that earlier before I did this video, and I added actually history where you could add please make it smaller and stuff like that, and it actually could improve on previous requests. No, it doesn't. Okay, so it took too long time. Maybe spear. We should have dots because it works better with if it doesn't have the correct amount of triangles, and it doesn't map up with the dots. And then there will be just exceptions, but I think it's time to wrap this project up. Oh, look at that, we got the sphere. Oh my god, this is the best sphere I have ever seen. We can sphere with random colors. See what that looks like. This wraps it up. What I wanted to show was the vibe coding feature and how well it works with Clojure and ClojureScript. Also, of course, what I think is the next generation for AI is to incorporate AI into your applications as first class data, where you actually ask LLMs to generate data that you can use either for analyzing or parsing or just understanding user input, like an email or a PDF file that should be inserted into a database as structured data, or actually to come up with new stuff that doesn't exist. I have another example that I will show tomorrow maybe, where I have created a game editor for adventure games, where you can actually let the LLMs to generate manuscripts, characters, images for environment images and character images and so on, which is quite cool. So you can quite fast, if you have an idea of a adventure game story, you can just enter the details and it will generate everything for you, and you can go in and do detail changes afterwards, and you don't need to be a good writer, you don't need to be a good graphics artist. I haven't done any sounds yet, but I'm looking forward to try out the ability to generate maybe background music and text to speech to let the characters talk and so on. This is a first example of what you could actually do easily with vibe coding especially, and also of course the ability to connect your backend to an LLM. And where do I think that vibe coding will go in the future? I think that quite soon, maybe in a year or a couple of years, you don't need to be a developer to actually generate your applications. Maybe you will be a product owner, and we will have a lot of product owners that make custom applications for anyone in the company that needs to have particular problems solved, and maybe there will be programmers still, but they will take care of problems that the product owners themselves cannot solve with the LLM, with the vibe coding, so to speak. But this is a very, very interesting development, and I think us as developers, we shouldn't be afraid to lose our jobs. We need to adapt this technologies and make it our first go-to tools today already, even if it's scary, and even if it doesn't really solve all problems today, we need to get used to how to use them. All right, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye bye.